Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's, yeah.
And then he told me, so he's like in the process of like moving, and I don't want to get like too much into this on camera, because it's like, I'll tell you off camera when we have dinner.
Sounds good. Sorry,
because it's like, I have to see like, yeah, it's just, it's a very, it happened here in Vegas, and it's just very sad. But like, do you remember that one girl that went missing? And it was,
I was just thinking about that today.
Leslie.
Yes, I was just thinking about her today. I'm not kidding. I was just thinking about her today.
So he told, like, I'll tell you what off camera. But what I can say is, this girl named Leslie, here in Vegas, went missing, and the last person she was seen with was a family friend. He, unfortunately, I think there was evidence of like an assault.
Yeah,
and
I think so.
He ended up taking her life, and his father assisted him in getting rid of her, basically. And they caught it on a Ring camera, and then his whole family got caught, like his sisters and mother got caught getting rid of evidence and cleaning up the whole house of blood.
There's like pictures and videos of it.
They were also like seen right before like they found out it was like the brother. They were seen, family members went to go like find them, you know, like the family like that she was last seen with. And
like her family members.
Yeah. Like, I remember that photo that went, like, of the sisters, like, taking things out of the garage and stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that doesn't look suspicious.
Yeah. So, my friend D told me that that was, like, their neighbors. And he had just seen the guy that killed her, like, right before. Like, in the hall. Like, nothing, like, right?
I would vomit.
Yeah. And he said that the house was, like, empty because they ran. Like, the murderer ran to Mexico.
Yeah.
And the dad got, like, extradited, I think.
I can't remember what happened to the dad, but I think if he gave information, like I don't even know.
He's hiding out in Mexico. Honestly, we know that. Like, he's probably with un tía, and the mom is like, "Ay, mi niño angelito precioso, no hace nada." Yeah.
I can't.
Yeah. Gross.
You're just as guilty.
Oh,
if you help your family out.
Yeah.
I'll just say that.
It's safe to assume that she was unfortunately like murdered in the house, right? I think that's what
I feel like it's safe to assume that.
Yeah. Because Dee told me, and he told me like, oh, I mean no disrespect, and I was like, no worries. Like, if you're telling me an experience, how is it disrespectful? And he told me like after the house was like empty, like they would hear like banging on the door of that house, where the family was. So like maybe that's like her spirit. Yeah. And like I don't want to like disrespect in any way, but that's just like something I heard, and I was like, I believe it.
Oh my god.
I believe it. Yeah.
That makes me feel so.
I'm so sad.
I just want to learn how to release her from that home.
And I know. Because like they all ran off. Remember the whole family?
Yeah.
So.
What happened to the sisters? Have you heard anything about this? Well. Oh god. That's so sad. But banging on the door? Yeah,
like as if like someone was still in there, but the house was empty.
Trapped. That's what I imagine, like someone just banging on the door, like trapped, trying to get out.
And he said that he like they'd hear it and they like walk in front of it, and it was clearly coming from that house.
That's so sad. That was a very scary week. I was on high alert.
I was on and like people don't realize like they always teach people like stranger danger, but they don't realize like it's people within your own family.
It could be the closest people to you.
Yeah, especially when they feel like they
have your trust.
Yeah. And predators use that, and it's just sick. It's so sick.
It's
disgusting. I totally believe it.
Yeah. But it's kind of a long story, but the SW.
Oh my god, yeah. Let's get into that, because I could always do this in like twos.
So the SW. Anyways, I didn't know that wasn't a term you weren't really supposed to say until recently, because I was like listening to this podcast and they were like, apparently it was like very triggering for some people when they said it. So the SWs. Okay. Zion in Utah. My family loves going there. We love camping there. Well, actually, take that statement back. I've only camped there once, so we love camping there. It was once.
Ya ven la niña fresa.
So I've gone camping there once, but it wasn't like, it was literally like so close to Zion, like it was basically Zion. But anyways, we went camping there, and it was a pretty sketch looking campsite, honestly. Nothing special about it.
Yeah.
Like, it was just very, I don't know, it felt very
ingenuine, maybe? Or
how would I say it? It felt very empty.
Okay.
It felt empty. I don't know. So anyways, I'll just say my side of the story, because there's...
I think your sister called me about it. Was it your sister?
Probably.
When I was in Minot, remember? I think your sister...
Maybe, yes.
Yeah, it was your sister who called me.
Because there's 3 sides. Well, there's 2 sides to the story. There's what my mom's side of the story and what she experienced, and there's what my sister and I both experienced. But I'm going to tell you my perspective, because there was 4 perspectives that day.
Yeah.
That night that we're going to go to sleep, we're like, ooh, time to go to sleep.
Yeah.
Whatever. We're in the tent, and it's dark out, whatever. And like, mind you, it was pretty empty. There was only like 3 other people camping near us. While we're like, you know, ready to go to sleep, I hear what sounds like footsteps. And I get it, like, you know, when you're camping, people are walking around, they're going to the restroom, like all that kind of stuff. Did I make you sleepy? I'm kidding.
No. Oh, no.
Bore you with this story. She's already heard it. I'm just kidding. But anyways, so I heard footsteps, like right next to our tent. Like, I'm not talking about, oh, like they're probably just walking off in the distance, going to the restroom. No, it was like literally, like I'm lying down, my head's here, and I hear right behind me these footsteps.
Okay.
And so it was like really scary, because I was like, what the heck? Like, why is someone walking so close to our tent? Like, I was more afraid of like the human being next to my tent, you know?
Oh yeah, I'm more afraid of humans.
I'm more afraid of the human. I'm like,
let alone if they're men. I'm scared.
Yeah, so I was like, what the heck? So my sister and I, we were like, Dad, there's someone, because we're in a huge tent. We're like, Dad, there's someone outside the tent. And then he's like, okay. So we like, go out. Like, he's like, okay, you paranoid, like little girls, like, because, you know, it's, people are walking around.
Yeah.
No one was walking around, actually. But anyways, we go out, we check it out, and there's nothing there. We're like, okay, that was weird. So then we kept hearing it, like these footsteps behind us, like just walking near us. And so one of the times, like we had this plastic tablecloth on like a table that was outside.
Oh,
and and I kept telling my sister, because my sister's the one who heard it first, and she was like, do you hear that? Do you hear that? And I was like, Perla, it's probably just the wind against the tent, rustling or whatever. And one of the times I did hear it clearly, and I was like, oh yeah. So one of the times we did remove that tablecloth.
Yeah.
It was a plastic table cloth covering whatever, because we were like, it's probably the wind. So once we took out all the possible variables, we heard it again, and I was like, oh my god, like there is a serial killer out there. Like my mind just went like crazy, because that was also when the whole
Gabby
thing, the Tito thing was happening, that they were looking for her. I don't know if they did find her. I don't know. That's when that whole thing was happening. And so anyways, long story short, it was probably like 4 or 5 times that we walked out of that tent with like this big old flashlight trying to see what's around. And my mom, she already knew that it was something paranormal, because she was like, if it was a person and you walk out of the tent, you would have heard running footsteps and you would have seen someone in the distance. So she's like, it's not a person. And so our camping neighbors had a dog. So I was like, it's probably the dog. But honestly, there's a difference between 2 human footsteps.
Yeah, it's very distinct.
And dog footsteps, like 4-legged animal footsteps. And so one of the times that we walked out, my sister had to go pee, long story. She had to go pee.
Out of fright?
Out of fright, yeah. And then there was like, I look over and there's a dog next to her, and it wasn't the neighbor's dog.
Stop it.
It was like,
stop it.
You guys, I was terrified. I thought it was a wolf. I was so scared. I was like, I'm about to watch my sister get mauled by a wolf. Which I don't even know if there's wolves in Zion, to be honest. I'm probably not. Anyways.
Oh, God.
So yeah, there's like this dog there. Throughout the night, we were just so spooked. Like, we kept hearing that noise. And then finally, in the morning, when we got up, my sister's so cute. She like looks at the tent and she's like, oh, there's dogs outside. And I was like, oh my God. So these dogs, like anytime we looked out, well, there was one dog in specific, was sleeping right next to our tent. Like right next to our tent. And when I looked at these dogs in the morning, like one of them was huge. It was like probably a wolf literally mixed with a husky, to be honest.
Okay,
yeah, it was a huge dog. And the other one looked kind of like a Labrador. But what was strange is when I looked at their collars, it just said Zion Mountain. Their names were Emerald, and you know my middle name is Esmeralda.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
So I was like, that's weird. One was Emerald and the other one was Roxy. But it just said Zion Mountain, and then it had a phone number on there. And if I'm not mistaken, I don't like to give so much negative connotation or negativity to this number, but if I remember, there was a 666 in that number. But I was like, okay. But so knowing what I know now and about that night and everything, I was like, was in like indigenous land and all that stuff. I was like, was it a skinwalker just roaming around, you know, there?
Yeah.
And then like the dogs were just protecting us.
That's what I was thinking.
Because mind you, there was no other person who was like the owner of those dogs. Like those dogs chilled with us the entire night and the rest of the day that we were there.
That's kind of sweet.
Yeah. I don't know, it was weird. And there's just so much to that story that it's just like a whole story, to be honest.
Oh my God, I need to get your sister here to give the other side as like a part 2.
Because I already know when Perla watches this, she'll be like, no, this happened too, or that happened too. Like, there's just so much. But it was just spooky. Like, I was not a fan of hearing footsteps right behind me, and then like you walk out and there's nothing there.
Yeah.
And my sister was ready to leave. She's like, I'm gonna go.
I remember she called me, and I was in Minot. And she was asking me for like advice, and I told her if it don't work, I'm coming over, like, you know. But oh God.
Yeah. So yeah, when I heard that SW word, I was like, ugh. I think that's what it was. Cause even I told my dad, I didn't know at the time, but I was like, Dad, I was like, I think it was like a shapeshifter or something. And
I believe in shapeshifters.
Yeah, and let me tell you why I thought it was that. So before we went to bed, my dad and I, we drove the car to like this small little store to get wood, and it was already dark. And when we're driving over there, I jokingly say, what if we see a ghost on our way? I know.
Why did you do
that?
I was kidding.
So we're driving over there, and then on our way back, we see it's dark. There's a little kid walking in the middle of the dirt road. No one is near him. It is so dark that I'm like, why doesn't this kid have a flashlight? Mind you, it's cold. I was like, why is he in shorts? Why doesn't he have a sweater on?
No.
Like, I
have a story.
Okay, I just thought it was like this really weird kid walking by himself, and I was like, okay, you weird kid. But what was strange is that when we're driving down and he can see our headlights, like, he didn't even turn back to be like, oh, there's a car coming behind me. No.
Like, no acknowledgement.
No acknowledgement whatsoever until we got pretty close, and he like jumped out of the way, looked so spooked, like, it was a super delayed reaction. And then he like ran up this hill into like a highway. I didn't see him run into the highway, but like toward a highway, and I was like, that was weird.
Okay, so a long time ago, my neighbors around here, they're all like original homeowners, right?
Okay.
But one of them, the one right there, she recently like moved. Okay. And her name is Connie. We call her Auntie Connie. Mm-hmm. And then right across from us right there, that's like Mark and Jane. Okay. Connie, and so Mark and Jane, they own a cabin in Duck Creek, and then Connie owns one in Penguin, Utah. Okay. So every like summer, all the neighbors would get together. I loved it. Like all the kids grew up together. Like you've seen, like we're very homey. Like Kristen right here, like one of my best friends.
Her neighbors actually, they talk to each other.
Yeah. During the pandemic, we had so much fun. Like safely, you know, because like we had nothing else to do, and we're all like quarantined right here. But so my childhood was like full of like always going to the cabins with my neighbors like for like a week or two, and like we'd always go back and forth from Pigwidge to Duck Creek and like have barbecues.
Oh, that sounds nice.
And my Auntie Connie one year like let us have her cabin in Pigwidge, and it's a super small town, super small. And I brought my friend Sophia. My parents were like, yeah, you can bring a friend to have fun with. We were driving in the middle of nowhere in the woods. Okay. Like kind of like what you were saying, middle of nowhere. And I was like asleep, and something was kind of like bringing me out of my sleep slowly, like as if it was like pulling me, right? And I'm in the car, and Sophia, I think, is like awake still, and my sister, I'm not sure if she was awake or not, but my parents were in the front you know, like my dad was like driving, I believe, and my mom was awake. And I remember like everyone was like freaking out. You just feel this shift in energy.
Oh.
And there was like on the side of the road a guy like walking in white, but there was just something so eerie and abnormal about him. Like we all think it was like a spirit. Like it was just like in the middle of the night.
Yeah, and he
pitch
didn't have like
black,
a
no
flashlight.
nothing,
See, that's
nothing. Terrifying, right? Like, so that just like reminded me of that.
Yeah, that's spooky. Yeah, when you see someone in the middle of the forest with no flashlight.
Oh yeah.
Are you okay? Like,
and that's the thing. Energy is like, there's so much energy in trees, and when you're in like a forest, like there are earth spirits, and it's just, there's something so eerie about them. I don't know how to describe it.
Oh my God. Speaking of forests, are you okay?
No, yeah, I'm
like,
fine.
okay.
I'm fine. I'm just like, oh my God, like thinking about that, like the feeling, it like takes you back, you know?
Ooh. But speaking of forests, have you...
Oh God, I'm scared. Never goes camping in my life. I'm just kidding.
Have you heard of Duendes?
Oh, we have one. Yeah, I'm always talking about him.
Okay, so... Because I've been told, like, you know, deep in, like, the Mexico forest or whatever, that there's duendes.
Yeah.
And I would always be like, okay, like, that's weird. I kind of believe it, but I don't know. So, that apartment I was telling you about, the spooky one, that apartment I was telling you about, one time my dad and I... Well, no, our family, we got home very late. It was like probably like 1 a.m. or something. We went to a party and got home late.
You know how it goes.
And I remember he opened the door first, and I was like the first one to walk in, and I see a duende. Like, I don't know how else to just say this, but it was like probably like
that's how big ours is.
Yeah, it was like this big, and like I didn't see like facial features, clothes.
Yeah.
Like, it was really dark, and it walked from one side of the wall, like it was like standing by the wall, and it like ran to this chimney that we had, and then we turned on the light, and it was like nowhere to be seen. Now, I didn't tell my dad I saw anything, but I looked, I'm pretty sure I looked shocked. I was probably
like taken aback.
Yeah, and like he just looked at me, he's like, are you okay? And I was like, yeah. I think so. And he's like, okay, like, you know, didn't say anything. And then finally when I was like, I think I was like 19 years old. This happened when I was probably like 13. And then when I was 19 years old, he's like, hey, do you remember that one time we got home and like we opened the door and you looked kind of scared? He's like, what did you see? And then I told him, he was like, okay, yeah. He's like, I saw that too, but I just didn't want to scare you. So it was confirmed to me that I saw what I saw and it was real. And with that story, so that wall that I was talking about, there's a vent there. And my parents, like during the summer, they're saying like, why is there like no airflow? Like you can't feel the AC. They're like, it's probably something wrong with the vent. Like so they go to like this vent that's like on the side of the wall. It's like very low. They unscrew it, like it was screwed on there. Like they unscrew it, and when they open it, they see toys, like keys, like necklaces, and just like socks, like just stuff in there, hidden, like, and mind you, it wasn't like loose or anything, like it was screwed on there. And it was our stuff. It wasn't like anyone, it was our stuff. Yeah. Isn't that crazy?
If like you guys don't know, duendes are like in Mexican or Latin American or South American folklore, they're like gnomes.
They're
basically.
gnomes, essentially, yeah.
Yeah, and they can be very mischievous, and they like to take your things. Like so ours is like this big, and I've seen it like in the air, and it looks like a tree stump with like moss on it. Like it looks brown and like, yeah, I've seen it.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and then I don't know if you've seen my like other YouTube video, but my coworker, her tia has a duende story, and it was like she woke up in the middle of the night and she heard like a party, like como una fiesta, and she thought like, oh, like did my family start having like a party after I went to bed? You know when you're a kid, like you know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
So she went downstairs and she sees like lights, like it was like como una fiesta, like a party was happening, and she said like it was duendes. And when they realized she was coming, the music stopped, everything stopped, and she saw something fly across the room. It was a tiny shoe. A tiny shoe flew across the room, hit the wall,
Oh my god, does she have
and disappeared. Oh. But it left a shoe print on the wall.
That is so crazy.
And like, yeah, they all disappeared.
How do you explain that?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. That's okay. See, here's my thing. Like, is it just like another dimension?
That's what
I
I'm
really
thinking.
see. Like in this dimension that we're in, like there's also another dimension of gnomes. Like literally, like I could probably just have one right here, but I don't know it. And then like suddenly.
Ew!
Sorry.
No, you know how my phone felt like when I stopped?
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking of right now. I was like, was it a duende?
Yeah, and then like for whatever reason, like our eyes align to, or spiritual, I don't know what it is, like that we just align with that dimension and then we're able to see it. Like, I don't know what it is.
I just think that we're so like accustomed to our perceptions here, and we have limited views and scopes. Here.
Yeah.
And like even people saying, "Oh, be realistic." There's no such thing.
Yeah.
I can go all into that, but even like people that have like my pets, like people will, you know, argue that they don't have souls, da da da.
Yeah.
But yet, like we've seen them.
Oh, how beautiful.
And yeah, when my aunt's dog died, like we heard it bark right after, and even like when my some of my family members like had like miscarriages, we heard like the babies crying.
Aww.
Yeah. So I just think like they're in a different like dimension.
Yeah.
You know, whether it's the in between or heaven or whatever it is, just like
elsewhere.
Yeah. And I know like people love to like, you know, be like, well, in the Bible it says, but like I think we also forget that us as humans, the Bible has been like redone like what, over like 2,000 times.
Yeah. Have you ever played telephone?
No, yeah, and like it's often catered, like people in power, you know, will like modify things in order to fulfill their self-serving biases or righteousness, you know, and you know, I feel like not to bash the Bible or like, you know, like Christianity or Catholicism, but our relationship with God, universe, creator, and itself is personal to each in their own. And
very true.
Literally anything is possible.
Yeah.
100,000%, I agree.
Yeah.
So I concur. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with us and hanging out with my beautiful friend Maria.
Thank you for listening to our spooky stories.
Yeah, like it's always so nice that my friends, like I don't know if it's like our culture or like I mean you've met like a lot of my friends during my parties, like they're just so open and
I love that.
Yeah, we're all spiritual too.
We're very spiritual. I love when I tell a story and no one looks at me like, you know.
Yeah, that's how you.
Like, oh my god, let me tell you about mine, and I'm like, oh, yes, thank you.
Yeah. Oh my. Yeah. Like that's the thing I love about my friend group is like we're all just so. You know what? You've met them and like, oh, I love them so much, and like we can all hang out together and like, you know, it's not awkward.
It's good energy.
It is, and I don't feel crazy. Like
you're like, oh, I'm not crazy. Good.
But yeah, we're gonna go and get some din din right now, and then we are going to do another video. So while the battery is charging, and what we're gonna do is we are going to go through commented stories on TikTok, because I post a little bit of like TikTok paranormal content here and there, and I like to see what people comment, and I think that
I love people's stories.
I know. Maybe it's because like we're like chismosas, but in a good way. But
yes, tell me.
Yeah, like oh my god, did you hear? But yes, thank you guys so much for welcoming my beautiful friend Maria, and I'll attach her handles down below. And if you are in the Las Vegas area and need like, you do skincare and
skincare, hair care, haircuts. I'm a cosmetologist.
She is, and she's really good. I'm not just saying that because she's my friend, but she does my sister's boyfriend, she does my hair, she does my sister's hair. Like she's
come through.
Come through. But I'll leave her information down below. Thank you guys so very much, and I'm excited to talk with you guys again and to have you guys hang out with us. And is there anything you want to say?
Just thank you for listening to our spooky stories. I love listening to spooky stories, so I hope you guys enjoyed our spooky stories.
Yeah, we'll see you soon. Bye!